welcome back on the PAC Sports Network. The Westminster Titans in our nightcap will face the Chatham Cougars in the third contest of our tri-match today. So far this afternoon and evening, the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets defeating Chatham 3-0 in our first affair. Then in matchup number 2, Westminster disposing of Waynesburg 3-0. Although Waynesburg putting up a pretty good fight in sets 2 and 3, falling by scores of 25-20. But nonetheless, Westminster victorious. So in this third and final matchup, Westminster 9-2 overall, 2-1 in PAC play. The Chatham Cougars, they are 0-8 overall and 0-2 in conference play. And if you've been following us on the PAC Sports Network today, this one going to get started a little bit earlier than originally scheduled. It was an 8 p.m. start time, but as it turns out, we have a little bit earlier start this evening, and both teams set. Doesn't look like they're going to have starting lineups introduced, so we'll just get right to it here. So a little bit of a hurry here this evening for this third set, but nonetheless, I don't think anyone will complain about an earlier start time, as it is Westminster against the Chatham Cougars. And we'll see Westminster pretty impressive, Kat, in that in their earlier victory over Waynesburg.
For sure. I can't say it enough really with them. They were running so well in their system. They were quick. They were covering each other. There was just a lot of support overall. Their front line was tremendous. I mean, you talk about Megan Ramotion, Reimer. We talked about Palkovic a lot, just so many names and so evenly distributed throughout. I would think if you're Chatham right now and you saw that earlier match, you know what you're in for and you know you have your hands full.
I'm excited for our broadcast debut of fall sports with women's volleyball today, this triple header on the PAC Sports Network. We'll have football on October 5th, W&J visiting the Bethany Bison from Bethany, as we'll have a video stream of that. And also remember to visit us on Twitter at PAC Sports, also on Facebook as well. And we are underway in this third matchup of the day, Chatham versus Westminster, and Westminster taking an early 1-0 lead.
You forgot our Instagram again.
And Instagram. I'm sorry. I was trying to get everything in before the first point was scored. Go ahead, Kat. You can take it away.
Some people just like the pictures. They don't like the words. They don't want to have to read a lot. So if you just like the pictures, you can go to Instagram.
It's like a picture book.
It is.
Some people, you're right. Some people, or a magazine. Some people like the pictures better than the words.
It is. Like I said earlier, these campuses in the PAC are so beautiful. They just lend themselves to these great photos. So you should check them out.
Westminster has leaped out to a 2-0 lead. Julie Powell serving. And a set to Bibbs in the kill for Chatham. Marija Bibbs, the senior from Chesapeake, Virginia, cuts it to a 2-1 score.
Bibbs was the bright spot for Chatham in their first matchup with Waynesburg. She was blocking well, able to get a few kills in there.
Aaron Smith with the serve for Chatham. There's a block by Bibbs. Back set by Palkovic. Peters. The point to Westminster, 2-2, excuse me, 3-1 Westminster. Maria Bagnato with the dig out of the back row. Palkovic sets left side for Pribel in the kill. For Megan Pribel, 5'10" sophomore, 4-1 Westminster. Once again, and talking about crediting, whether it be our Twitter handle or Instagram, Justin Piles, again, continues to be on point with the scoreboard here this evening with our graphics. As the folks at Chatham here still trying to get that score right here in this opening set, as we have a violation. Charge to the Chatham Cougars, point to Westminster, 5-1.
It can be confusing sometimes. Volleyball is faster than people would think.
It really is. So Justin Piles, our producer, doing a great job. Also Caitlin Edwards working the camera this afternoon and evening. Is a swing into the middle and a kill for Rebecca Reimer, 6-1 Westminster. Lexi Starheim serving, played out of the back row on the dig by Bagnato. Palkovic back set to Peters. And the kill. Bagnano cannot dig it out. 7-1, Westminster racing out to the lead. Lexi Starheim, one of the strong group of seniors serving. And into the net, Arisa Tanemoto. Westminster ups their lead to 8-1.
Westminster, like we said, once again, looking really in sync. Chatham hasn't been able to knock them off their game yet. It took Waynesburg until the third set to do it, so I imagine it'll take Chatham a while too.
And Westminster, another one well placed and off the fingertips of the Chatham Cougars, and as they have fallen behind 9-1, Chatham head coach Mark Eberle calls a timeout. With the timeout, we'll take one here as well. We'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA. For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud.
And welcome back to Chatham as the Cougars trail Westminster 9-1 in the early going of this opening set. I'd like to thank all our sponsors as well for making tonight possible. Sharps Furniture, Triple, Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living, First Commonwealth, Foster's Law Firm, and law offices in the Mercer area and along the interstate up toward Erie. Several different office locations. Westminster now up 10-1. Taking early command of this one, and on paper, one that heavily favors Westminster. They've lived up to it here through the first 11 points. Palkovic sets left side for Preibel. Block made by Bibbs. Palkovic again, this time to Reimer, but up to the task. Bibbs, well-placed tip into the middle, and it's 10-2. Now Bibbs has produced the 2 points for the Cougars here.
That rally there was pretty much all Bibbs for Chatham. 2 great blocks. Well, not all her, I should say. She took part in 2 great blocks, but got a piece of both of them and then was able to put it back down.
Also of our sponsorship group, Sport Clips in McMurray and Trinity Point, will be primarily on our football broadcast for the fall. And get our first football broadcast on October 5th at Bethany. W&J visiting the Bethany Bison. We'll have more volleyball as well on our fall sports schedule. You can check us out at pacstream.net for details on our broadcast schedule. Also archives and our PAC blog as well at Justin Piles and Kat Guyan do a terrific job maintaining with up-to-date information and news stories. There's a big swing and a kill for Chatham's Heather McIntyre, the 5'7" freshman from Ashburn, Virginia. So back-to-back points.
She really can put some pace on that ball. I saw it, a few times versus Waynesburg, but not as many as I would have expected to see. I would think, I don't know if they just couldn't work it outside to her or what was happening, but I would think that along with Bibbs, she would be the other main target.
Ferrando with the point that time for Westminster. The Titans with a wardrobe change, if you haven't noticed, between the second match and the third match today, as they are donning their white uniforms with the navy blue numerals and lettering. Chatham Cougars black uniforms with the purple numerals and lettering and white trim. 11-4 the score. Bibbs out of the back row. Aaron King with the set. McIntyre sends it across with a big swing. And 4 hits on Westminster. Chatham makes it 11-5.
Westminster having a couple of plays. I think that might have been the second time, maybe the third time I've seen them on this near side having some problems with where it's placed relative to the net.
There's a kill for Lauren Slater, 5'9" freshman from Oakland Catholic. (12-5) Westminster. Oakland Catholic reaching the WPIAL consolation round last year in Class AAA. Lauren Slater a part of that group. Ball out of bounds off of Chatham. Point to the Titans. 13-4. Or excuse me, 13-5. Tip and the point for Powell. Julie Powell out of Meadville makes it 14-5. Set left side for McIntyre. Powell with the response, McIntyre the dig. Set King back to McIntyre. Nice soft tip. Good diving dig made by Ferrando. Miss hit by Aminata Zheng into the net. 15-5.
The score might not reflect it right now for them for Chatham, but I think in the early goings of this first set here, they're playing much better than they did towards the end with Waynesburg. They were kind of falling apart fundamentally a little bit, I think, and now they look much more together. They're able to extend the points. Not a lot of them going their way, but that's something that's important, is you want to extend those points where it's not just one time over and it's done.
Preibel with the ace moments ago. Left side McIntyre. Ferrando keeps it alive. And now Bibbs plays it across. But a double tap on Bibbs. 17-5 Westminster. And Preibel with another ace. Now the Westminster Titans, the group with what they've shown so far today, and one that we talked about, their senior strong core of seniors. This time the serve too strong, service error, makes it 18-6. But they are one that certainly has to be looked at as that top tier of teams in women's volleyball in the PAC this year. Of course, Thomas More, the defending champions. Geneva knocking off Thomas More early this year, so you have to look at Geneva. The Bethany Bison amongst those making noise, and Westminster certainly amongst that group.
And it's no wonder why when you watch them play tonight, there's not many things they're doing wrong, and if they're doing it wrong, it's a one-time little mistake and they fix it. Just well-disciplined. You can tell this group has been playing together for a while. Westminster only graduated one senior last year who was in all PAC selections. So, I mean, these girls have been playing together for at least the second season now, if not more. Not only do they have a strong group of seniors, but they have a lot of freshmen and sophomores that coach expected to compete for some playing time. So maybe you'll be seeing some of those here if things keep going this way for Westminster.
18-7 our score. A brief and a rare miscommunication by Westminster, accounting for the last point for Chatham, but a hit out of bounds here by the Cougars. Now 19-7. Opening set, Westminster has been in command since the start. Out of bounds, Tanimoto with her cross-court attempt, far sideline. Makes it 20-7. Checking into the game for Westminster, Katie Preissner is checking out is Lexi Starhigh. Expect to see a lot of different players on the floor for Westminster in this one. Good dig by Bibbs. Tanimoto over. And the kill, the point for Julie Powell on the swing, the outside hitter from the left side.
Towards the end of this first set and maybe even to start the second set is when I think we could see, like you said, some of the younger players for Westminster that have been kind of competing for playing time. I expect they'll leave some of their core group in. You always have to have somebody in there with the newer players that's leading the way.
Almost had one in our direction, Kat.
I don't know that I could have played it well from this angle. Actually, I don't know that I could have played it well from any angle.
You'd have done just fine. 21-7 Westminster. Ferrando will serve here momentarily. Claire Ferrando, 5'8" senior from North Jackson, Ohio. Bibbs with the dig. And Tanimoto out of bounds. Chatham opens up the score to 22-7.
They're just really on a roll right now. If you're Chatham, you have to find some way to at least slow them down a little bit or be able to control the ball.
Make it 23-7 actually. As Bibbs too soft on the attempt. 24-7 Westminster.
Didn't give it quite enough from that back row. When you're back there, you really have to put full speed on the ball.
Ferrando trying to put an end to this first set. McIntyre blocked by the Titans on the right side. Zhang plays it over. And a nice tip by Katie Preissner puts it into it. 25-7 the final as the Westminster Titans close out set one. We'll take a break and come right back on the PAC Sports Network.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
Bankruptcy is just another word for failure. It's for deadbeats.
The typical person filing for bankruptcy is 38, middle class, and educated. Over 90% of bankruptcies are traceable to job loss, illness, or divorce, factors largely out of anyone's control.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy myths busted. Brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Maiden Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
At Chatham University, the Westminster Titans taking set one by 25-7 final. And now here in set two, Westminster in that opening set really spreading the wealth, so to speak. Katie Peters with a couple of kills. Also Julie Powell with a couple of kills. Katie Preissner, who checked in off the bench late in that first set, had the set ending point on a beautifully laid in tip to wrap it up. And so set two to get started here with Tiffany Jackson serving for Westminster. Jackson, 5'8" sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. Set left side for Powell. Scramble, getting to it. Bagnato and sent over by Tanimoto. Powell again. Played well by Jade Lawson. Bibbs over. Powell. Tanimoto. Now Smith with the set. Bibbs with the point for Chatham, and it's 1-0 Cougars.
Chatham coming out of that break a little bit more energized, it appears.
Oh, and Bibbs, as we've said time and time again, she's really been the spark for them when they have produced some points. It's hit out of bounds, 2-0 Chatham. And a service error on Heather McIntyre, who's been the top player in terms of aces for the Cougars this season, but a service error there. 2-1. Played over by McIntyre. Tip in the middle by Starheim. Nice pancake dig by McIntyre. The set by Jackson. Off the left side block. Chatham trying to keep it alive. They cannot.
Bibbs just got herself stuck there. It came down right in front of her, and she played it well, but instead of being able to bring it out to the side or behind her, it went right up on top, and there was no time for her to get out of the way.
Julie Powell serves. Nice scramble and effort there. And Bagnato plays it across. Libero, Chrissy Volsko over for Westminster. And again, Chatham without an answer. 3-2 after it was 2-0 Chatham. Now it's 3-2 Westminster. Set left side for Preibel in the floating tip. 4-2 Westminster. Well, Kat, you talked with Tammy Swearingen, the head coach, longtime head coach for the Westminster Titans, and what were some of the things that she kind of relayed in terms of her team trying to make it back? They're not all that far removed from winning PAC titles as far as being amongst the upper tier. Last PAC crown in 2008, winning back-to-back titles at 07 and 08. What's she looking forward to get her team back to the title game and a victory?
Well, I actually asked her basically about that, one of the things, and she expected the conference to be strong again for the title. She said it's always difficult to get past Thomas More. I mean, they won it 3 of the last 4 years with the exception of Geneva in 2011. So, I mean, she expected them and a couple more teams to be strong again, but she's really, I mean, every coach says this, but I mean, she said she's really, you honestly in this conference have to take it one match at a time because you never know who's coming off their last matchup is going to have a good day or a bad day. But like you said, she's got that core group of seniors, some really good underclassmen up and coming that we're going to see a little bit of now, and I'm sure in the third set as well. But there's a lot of competition within her team for playing time, and I think that if you're a coach, you love to see that because that keeps your starters and your seniors hungry for their starting spot, and it also really trains your freshmen and sophomores and even juniors that don't play much when they have to compete in practice, let alone in games.
Preibel, big swing. Does anyone lay a finger on it? Somebody from Chatham apparently did, and it's now 7-4 Westminster. And also with Tammy Swearingen, most recently was appointed to the NCAA Division III head coach's chair to the board of directors of the American Volleyball Coaches Association. And for those that aren't familiar, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, she said she's very honored by it. She thinks it'll be a great experience and definitely well-deserved with the amount of time she's been around the sport and been at Westminster. Just the record she has and what she's done with the team, very well-deserved.
And she'll be part of regular meetings as far as the AVCA is concerned. And there's another point for Preibel. Makes it 8-4.
When you were talking about the conference earlier, too, I think something you have to remember is there are those teams that are at the top, like Geneva right now, Thomas More, Westminster will be there, but there are teams that are really up and coming. St. Vincent over the last few years have gotten stronger. Bethany this year I feel is going to be really solid. You're going to have to look out for them. They don't hit the core of their schedule till probably the first week of October. That's when they have to have Thomas More for the first time, and that's when they'll have Geneva too, and those are going to be two tough matchups for them. But you have programs like W&J they're going, and Teal, I mean, made it to the conference finals last year, and they were a team that had to be up and coming until that point. They're not just, one day they appear out of nowhere. So even those teams that maybe on paper look like they're making up the bottom tier of the conference, they're growing, and I think that's really important in a sport like volleyball.
Score here currently 10-5 in favor of Westminster. Played over by Reimer, and unplayable for the Chatham Cougars, as it turns out. 11-5 Westminster. Tanimoto with the set left side. McIntyre just plays it over. Quickly returned right back to her by Tiffany Jackson. And Chatham cuts it to 11-6. Also, Kat, you're talking about, in terms of echoing Tammy Swearingen's comments about the conference, one that she finds to be very competitive, and really is she's been a part of this conference for so long now in her 21st season with Westminster, and actually she's been with Westminster since even they were in the PAC. But with that, Westminster coming to the conference and has seen how this conference has really developed in bringing in teams like Thomas More, and the competition just continues to increase along the way over recent years.
And I think too, you have to look at some of the coaching trends in the conference as well, because you have coaches like Westminster, St. Vincent, Grove City. Their coaches have all been there for a while. They've been there, but then you have Teal has a second-year head coach. So does Chatham. W&J's head coach is fairly new. Bethany, I think she's been there, I'm not exactly sure, but fairly new for coaching terms. I mean, even being there for like 3 or 4 years is still fairly new. But I think now those coaches, you're going to see those teams able to do a better job recruiting and get a foundation of their program, because it's difficult when your coaches haven't been there a while. But once they start to get experience, I just think that the conference is going to grow in those programs as well as those coaches stay there.
Megan Preibel with back-to-back aces makes it 14-6 Westminster. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout as well. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy Myths Busted, brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
Welcome back on the PAC Sports Network, our nightcap of our triple header today of the tri-match here from Chatham University. And after the timeout, we pick up where we left off. Another ace from Megan Preibel. 3 consecutive aces. 15-6 Titans. Tanimoto sets left side for McIntyre. Preibel with the dig. Jackson into the net.
Randy, we were just talking about some of the longest tenured coaches, and I mentioned Grove City with Coach Roberts out there, and she's been there. This is her 28th season there, and she's going to be retiring after this year, but another one of those coaches just has been with the conference in so long. And she said the same thing about the conference, that just the skill level grows and grows, and each year there's another team to add that could possibly contend for the championship.
Played over by Zheng for Chatham. Jackson sets left side for Powell, and she gets the point. 16-7 Westminster here in set 2. Now to serve for Westminster, Chrissy Volsko. Smith sets to Tanimoto. Tipped by Starheim, and the point for the Titans. 17-7. We touched on this earlier on in the first broadcast between Chatham and Waynesburg, but Chatham, a couple of international players, Tanimoto from Japan and Aminata Zhang from Senegal and West Africa. So they bring the international flair to the President's Athletic Conference. And Zhang with good height, 6-foot player, middle hitter. Bibbs with the dig, Smith back to Tanimoto. Dug out low by Preibel, but unplayable though for Jackson. Off of the dig, so 17-8.
Tanimoto, what I'm noticing about her today is she's certainly not a player that's afraid to, take a swing at it from behind midcourt. Sometimes you think you really want to be right at the net, and I don't think she's tried to take a swing at one that was right at the net. She tends to try it from way back, and I mean, it's better than just bumping it over the net. At least you get some speed on it, and she's gotten a kill or two that way, so whatever works.
Lauren Slater with a kill for the Titans. 18-8 our score. Now Jackson serving. And Slater there to bang it home. Bagnato for Chatham on the dig, had it float over the net, and Slater denies her.
That's just another one of those things with control for Chatham. We talked about it when they were against Westminster. They just need to get their digs more in control so that they're off the net. You can't expect your setter to handle a ball that's basically in the net.
Infraction on Westminster gives Chatham a point. And Heather McIntyre to serve. Peters, 4 hits on Westminster. She sends that one into the net. Chatham cuts it to 19-10. McIntyre serves it up once more. And before Smith can set for her team, we have a violation again on the Westminster Titans, so point to Chatham.
I think Chatham now has calmed down a little bit. That first set, they looked very, very frantic. We're just trying to place the ball anywhere they could. I think now they're starting to try and get good touches when they have the ball.
Net contact for Westminster. It looks like over the last couple of points there, Lauren Slater having some net issues, so that has helped Chatham to trim the deficit to 7.
Slater, one of those freshman players getting playing time, so not that you expect that. You never expect that to happen with them, but things like that you might have happen when you have a couple freshmen in there just getting the lay of it. Things like that. Not always the most aware of the net in front of them.
And Tammy Swearingen, good coaching opportunity here for her. She looked in, didn't remove Slater from the game. She said, all right, just settle down. But great opportunity in a contest like this here for some of the youngsters for Westminster to see some valuable varsity action, as it's now a 21-12 score favoring the Titans. And there is Preibel for another point for Westminster. Preibel with 3 aces. And add several kills to her tally as well. There's Bibbs for a kill.
You could tell she saw that open spot in the back corner. She turned her body slightly a little bit. She knew where she wanted to place that ball.
Now unofficially, I have Preibel for 3 kills and 3 aces in this set. And a double tap on the Chatham Cougars. Westminster closing in here on set 2, 23-13. Lauren Slater to serve. Good line drive serve played by Tanimoto over. Jackson with the dump attempt. Chatham rallies to keep it alive. Nicely done. McIntyre across. Jackson back set to Peters. Dig by Bagnato. Good volley here. Smith across. Slater from the back row. Jackson set left side for Pryble. Too short on the tip. And it's 24-14. 23-14.
Chatham really coming alive in this second set. I think they're playing much more as a team. They're getting, I keep saying this with them, but they're getting good touches. It's not let's just place it wherever and hope it goes over the net. They're able to bring themselves into more of a system.
Nice set by Jackson in the middle for Rebecca Reimer. 24-14. Westminster a point away. Reimer called her name quite a bit in the first set against Waynesburg earlier today. Tanimoto sets it up for McIntyre. Jackson trying to get it over the net, but on the fourth try, point to the Cougars.
Westminster really trying to keep it alive, but when it's that close to the net, it's almost like you have to bring it out before you can take it back over, and they only had one touch left to do it.
Serving Jade Lawson and over. That one punched across out of the middle. I don't think that was the way you drew it up, but nonetheless effective as Rebecca Reimer puts to an end set 2, 25-15 your final. It's a 2-0 match lead now for the Titans. We'll take a break and come back on the PAC Sports Network.
Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Maiden Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA. When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
Glad you can be with us. It's 2-0 Westminster over the Chatham Cougars. And our third set brought to you by Triple, Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living. And the fine folks at Triple on our sponsorship list for the second straight year. And glad to have them on board, as well as Sharps Furniture, First Commonwealth Bank, Foster's Law Firm. Our Foster's Law Firm player of the game. We still have to choose that afterwards, so stay tuned in our post-game show.
Another game with a lot of options to choose from.
Absolutely. We're underway here in the third set, again brought to you by Triple. Good volley. Powell from the left side, off the right side block of the Cougars and out of bounds. Give Powell the point. 1-0 Westminster. Chatham Cougars playing off the serve from Powell. McIntyre sends it across. Tip by Jackson. Running tip there. Bibbs with the swing and over. Jackson sets for Preibel. And the point. Preibel has been impressive. 3 kills and 3 aces in the second set. And now another point here to make it 2-0 Westminster. Well, earlier today, being here at Chatham, as there's an ace for Powell, we had the chance to take a tour. Now, you typically, Kat, take tours of the campuses whenever we go around to whatever school we may be at that particular time. But today, Dave Hodge, the SID here at Chatham, giving us a tour of some of the buildings and such. And we saw Andrew Mellon's childhood home, which I did not know happens to be on this campus.
I didn't know it was here either. This is one of the first times I've actually had a guided tour. I usually just, kind of make my way around and find what I can find. But the Mellon house is quite impressive. When you walk in the first floor, it looks like a house. It's really cool. You have a picture of him there. You always got to wave at him on the way in, so we made sure to wave. I don't know if it's bad luck if you don't or not, but we'll certainly be putting something about that up on the blog. A lot of history there. There even used to be a swimming pool.
That's right, which they turned into a main meeting room, which we understand is really where the important meetings take place here at Chatham. It's down in that room. So one of the first indoor swimming pools, as we understand. And we'll have to clarify exactly in what designation, but one of the first ever in this area. We can at least generalize it in that fashion. And I'm sure by the time you get your blog posting up that you'll have more specifics on that. There's a kill by Preibel to make it 6-1 Westminster.
I'll have to do a little post-game research on the indoor swimming pool.
But yeah, it was fantastic to take a look around campus today here at Chatham, and a beautiful campus, as all the schools that we have here in the President's Athletic Conference as well. And for those interested, Kat Guy with many of her campus visits, you can check that out on our PAC blog, which can be found through our PAC home site, pacstream.net. So not only just live broadcasts, but other tidbits and features that we have there along the way. Point to Chatham.
The great thing that I really enjoy about the campuses is that each campus has their own history or a piece of history. I mean, the Mellon House is just one of them. There's so many campuses with little pieces of history, and you go around and you look at it. We were at the Waynesburg Museum a couple weeks ago. That blog post still has yet to go up. Bethany, their old main building, is a National Historic Landmark. I mean, each campus, you just have to look a little bit, and sometimes I find this stuff out after the fact because I'm not always fortunate enough to have a tour guide, like I said, but every campus has a little bit of history. You just have to find it.
Katie Peters serving for Westminster and an ace. 8-3 Westminster. This gymnasium as well, one of the finer gymnasiums that you see along the way, Division III athletics. And we always enjoy coming here. The folks at Chatham take care of us, Dave Hodge and company. And another point for Preibel for Westminster, 9-3 Titans. We have a nice setup here on the perch, up here in the Cougar Den, if you will.
The actual Cougar was here too before.
That's right, Carson the Cougar we saw just a short time ago. One of your favorite mascots, I know, Kat.
He's a little ferocious looking.
He's a cougar. He's supposed to be.
I know. They definitely succeeded with that one. I'm scared.
Preibel sends it across. Smith sets left side for Jade Lawson and over. Slater too strong. Does it find a fingertip? It does. So point to Westminster. And now a timeout for Chatham. We'll take a break as well. We'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Main Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
Welcome back. It is 10-3, the score here in the third set. Westminster looking for the sweep. They swept Waynesburg earlier on in game 2 of our tri-match, 3-0. And before that, Waynesburg swept Chatham 3-0. In our fall broadcast opener on the PAC Sports Network, glad to have you along. Again, pacstream.net. Peters serving, and also all of our broadcasts are archived, so you can go back and watch them later. If you missed something fantastic, you can go back and see it later. Lauren Slater with a kill for Westminster, 11-3. I know one of our finer moments in our inaugural season on the network, we were at Thomas More, and the W&J at Thomas More. As far as one of the exciting moments, we had a buzzer beater in which Thomas More defeated W&J, had just 1.5 seconds to inbound it. And in the game of basketball, of course, our inaugural debut focusing on basketball. And Thomas More with the buzzer beater with just 1.5, got the catch and release for the shot and the win. And we still have that one on our archives, so you can go back and check out all your action from this year, as we'll keep all of that archived for quite some time. The 2013 and 2014 from fall to winter schedule upcoming. And we'll have PAC basketball again on air, men's and women's doubleheaders this winter as well.
We'll be starting to look at that too sooner than you think.
Oh, I'm sure. Closing in on October, next thing you know, it's November and opening night.
It's another thing we'll have on the blog. I'm sure we'll be catching up with lots of coaches as basketball gets near and they're allowed to start working with their players.
12-5 currently. Westminster leading in this third set is Aminata Zheng with the block in the middle for Chatham to garner them their 5th point. Lauren Slater with the kill. Now, we saw Lauren Slater a set ago where she was having some troubles at the net, and now you can see the freshman settling in.
I was even going to comment, too, on Aminata Zheng for Chatham. She's really, over the 2 games that they've played today, each set she's gotten better. Against Waynesburg a little bit, it looked like she was struggling to find her position, maybe looking a little confused at times, but I think here now against Westminster, there's a little bit less of that. She knows where she's supposed to be at the net. She's trying to get in there for more blocks, so I think she's kind of even evolving as the night goes on, and I'm sure she'll continue to evolve as the season goes on.
Played on the outside of the far antenna by Chatham, so 14-5 now our score is Chrissy Volsko serves for Westminster. Smith with the set to Tanimoto into the net on the miss hit. 15-5 Titans. Preibel will check out of the game for Westminster. Is entering is Kelsey Kilbane, 5'5" sophomore. Now Preibel with a fine afternoon and evening here at Chatham, especially in this nightcap. Too strong on the serve. Service error by Volsko. Makes it 15-6.
Yeah, Westminster, even with some of their, not normal starters and some younger players, some freshmen and sophomores, they're still running much in the same way that the starters did. These girls maybe, the newer girls, not quite as quick as that core group of seniors is together because they haven't played together as long, but I suspect that the more playing time they get, and nights like tonight are great because they get playing time together and you kind of see, what your future will be after your seniors graduate. Of course, the season's still long, so one of these girls may end up with a starting spot. You never know.
Here's a kill for Marija Bibbs, the 5'11" middle hitter and senior, and Bibbs the team leader in most categories for the Chatham Cougars, both last year and this year, produces a kill to cut it to 16-7.
Volsko collided hard with Kilbane on that one. Her head went into Kilbane's tennis shoes. They were all kind of helping her up. I think she was laughing, but it looked for a second like she was going to be down. She didn't move.
Powell with the point for Westminster. Entering now, Nicole Lukeland, 6-foot freshman from Boardman, Ohio. As the shuffle and rotation continues for Westminster. Leading 17-7 in this third set. Lawson over, back row, dug out by Powell. Dump attempt by Jackson, kept alive by Peters. And the point for Westminster, diving effort in the back right quarter by Bagnato. But the senior from Pittsburgh could not keep it alive, 18-7.
Proof right there from Westminster that sometimes it always doesn't take the 3 touches and a big kill. A well-placed deep set will do the trick sometimes.
Powell with the ace. And another timeout called by Chatham. 19-7 Westminster. We'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy myths busted. Brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
Welcome back for our third set. 19-7 Westminster leading in the third set, which is brought to you by Triple, Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living. Powell, who had an ace just moments before the timeout, serves. Bibbs to the back row. Powell with the dig. And a collision near sideline. Looks like those individuals okay. Chrissy Volsko and Nicole Lukeland. 19-8. Chatham gets the point. Aaron Smith from Shaler to serve. And the ace for Aaron Smith. Left side, Lukeland with the swing. Nice sliding dig by McIntyre. Lawson plays it over. Now Peters, after the Westminster scramble, gets it across. Bibbs blocked in the middle by Lukeland and company. Peters keeps it alive. Jackson sets left side for Lukeland. And out of bounds. Chatham rolls off a third straight point, 19-10.
You mentioned Katie Peters on that point. What I've noticed about her is not that all of Westminster's players aren't vocal, but she seems to be, extremely vocal out there. She's motioning people off when she wants the ball, just really, clarifying. It's keeping her from on her side of the net, at least. People aren't running into each other, which is always a good thing.
We saw Peters in the earlier contest against Waynesburg, and she saw as a freshman playing time with the starting group, or main group, if you will, from Westminster. Now, obviously, in a game that has been well at hand here for Westminster, Peters playing with some of the other youngsters. And so she has, perhaps, even though she's just a freshman, at least in comparison with this current group, more of that varsity, high varsity experience.
It's like we said, there's going to be competition even at practice, so she probably earned her spot there.
19-12 Westminster. And another point here for the Chatham Cougars. Bibbs right over top of the middle. It was 19-7, so 6 straight rolled off by the Cougars until that service error.
Yeah, the gym's kind of coming alive here with the little Chatham rally. It's a little louder in here now.
Tammy Swearingen wants a couple of substitutions for her group. Megan Little in. And she will come in for Katie Preissner. Preissner, 6'3", player from Wilmerding, PA, and Sarah Catholic High School in McKeesport. Set by Smith to Bibbs. Collision in the back row, but pushed across by Lauren Slater. Tamimoto lobs it over. Peters to Jackson, sets to Slater in the point for Westminster, 21-13. Well, again, Slater showing her comfort level now in this third set. Re-entering the game for the Titans, 21-13. Bibbs to the back row, dug out by Little, and dumped over by Jackson, 22-13.
Coach Swearingen really being a little more vocal with her players, I think, in this set, especially towards the end than she was in the first two when she had her starters and more of her core group out there. Really using this again, like we said, as a teaching opportunity. It seems after every play she's yelling something out or taking a step closer to the court, whereas, you know, in the first two sets or even when they played Waynesburg, she was a little bit more stoic, kind of in the observing mode, it appeared.
Miss it, trying to go cross court, but out of bounds. Nicole Lukeland helps Chatham to their 14th point, 22-14. Marija Bibbs. Back set Jackson. Peters blocked by Lawson. As you said, the gymnasium a little more vocal now here as Chatham easily displaying their best effort of this match.
Peters got surprised on that last play. That tip back went over her head, and there wasn't the coverage behind the blocks that behind the hitters that you usually see.
Out of bounds by Luckland. 22-16. And again, it was 19-7. A 12-point lead has shrunk to 6. There's a kill, though, by Preibel. His missed consistency in this match with the Chatham Cougars. Preibel with another kill. And it's her third of this set. And really, she's been out of this set after the early going, but back in as things have gotten a little tighter, delivers the kill. Now Peters serving. Peters sets it up for Slater. And the point. One away now, Westminster from the sweep.
Chatham, I keep saying it, but over these last three sets from what the first one was, they really have improved. They've gone on that run. They're looking a little more solid.
Diving effort by Smith over the net. The joust. Preibel will win it, and so does Westminster. Your final 25-16 in set 3. And 3-0 Westminster in the match score. We'll take a break. When we come back, our Foster's Law Firm Player of the Game on the PAC Sports Network.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve Southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA.
And welcome back on the PAC Sports Network. And before she walks out the door, we might as well anoint her. There's Megan Preibel, our Foster's Law Firm player of the game, as the Westminster Titans sweeping the Chatham Cougars 3-0 in our nightcap of our triple header today on the PAC Sports Network and the tri-match here from Chatham University. So Megan Preibel, unofficially 6 kills and 5 aces in this one against the Chatham Cougars. And what was, again, with so many different players, seeing some action for Tammy Swearingen's group here. The Titans getting the win, but Preibel certainly was one that stood out amongst all of her teammates that really played pretty well.
I think you have to look at not even her, but just the Westminster team as a whole. They just played really well. It was so difficult for Waynesburg and Chatham to get them out of system at all. Waynesburg managed to do it at the end of that third set, and I think Chatham finally managed to do it in the third set as well. But just a very solid team, and I think all the teams today, I mean, Chatham improved as the day went on. Waynesburg looking very solid against Chatham, and then playing Westminster really well towards the end of that third set, even getting Westminster to call a timeout there to regroup themselves. So I think that each team you have to look at, they made improvements today, but Westminster overall was the highlight of the day, so to speak.
No, absolutely. And Chatham, as you just talked about in that third set, certainly a lot to be proud of in their effort, never giving in at any point, despite, no matter what the score might have been, whether it was against Waynesburg earlier on or in this contest against Westminster, showing some good fight and mettle and making it a close one, as it turned out, or relatively close toward the end there in that third set. And so job well done by all involved, and congratulations to all of our Foster's Law Firm players of the game today. As for Waynesburg in our first contest, Jessica DeRazio, our player of the game. In our second contest, Megan Ramoshin, our player of the game, and now Megan Preibel, our player of the game. So a couple of Megans and a Jessica, our players of the game today on the PAC Sports Network. And again, you can check our website for more information, pacstream.net, whether it be our players of the game, blog information, news stories, up to date, whatever it is you're looking for, PAC. If it's not on the conference website, it's likely on the PAC Stream site, and we're glad to have all of you check in, and we encourage you to do so. Also, our broadcasts and web streams all are archived, so check those out, and also DVDs available for purchase as well of all of our broadcasts for any folks who might be interested in that. So that just about does it here from Chatham University, our first broadcast of the fall sports schedule. I think we're off to a running start.
I think so. I'm glad we started to do volleyball. I think it's an exciting sport that sometimes people forget about. I think it's going to be a good season. I really honestly can't wait to see till it gets into October and the end of the year, because there's a couple strong teams that are strong now and a couple that are up and coming, to see who makes it to the tournament.
And as far as today's results, Westminster now 10-2 overall, 3-1 in conference play. Waynesburg 7-8 overall. They're 1-3 in conference play. Chatham 0-9 overall and 0-3 in conference play at the end of today's tri-match. Our next broadcast, a video stream at Bethany. It's PAC football. The W&J Presidents visiting the Bethany Bison. That's on October 5th. And Justin Piles and myself will be bringing you along all of that action, Cat Guy. And actually, you won't be there for that one, but we'll miss you. But you'll be there in spirit, I'm sure.
I will be there. My best friend is getting married that weekend, so sorry, guys.
That's all right. Well, you're allowed to miss one every once in a while. So, but nonetheless, most of our crew will be there on Saturday, October 5th, and we're looking forward to our first football broadcast of the year as well. So that's a wrap for Caitlin Edwards, our camera person. person today. Justin Piles, our producer. I'm Randy Gore for Cat Guine as well. We'll talk to you again on October 5th. Your finals today of our tri-match. Waynesburg 3, Chatham nothing. In Game 2, it was Westminster 3, Waynesburg nothing. In Game 3, Westminster 3, Chatham nothing. Again, we'll bid you a pleasant good night on the PAC Sports Network.